Okay, welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be going over body recomp, how you can build muscle and lose fat at the same time, and if it's worth doing in the first place. Now, recomping, building muscle and losing fat at the same time. It sounds like the perfect scenario, but is it as straightforward as that? Lots of people try this and lots of people fail. First things first, when it comes to our physique, we have to break it down into three categories, right? We have a bulking phase if we're trying to build muscle. We have a cutting phase, fat loss phase if we're trying to lose body fat. And then we have the recomp, which is a little bit of everything in between. Build muscle, lose fat. Of course, great. That sounds like the one to go for, but you need to be smart and specific with the one you go for, depending on the position you are currently in. Now, first things first, if you are massively overweight and you look in the mirror and you hate the way you look, guys, a recomp phase isn't for you. You need to go through a fat loss phase. You don't want to be very overweight, trying to eat at maintenance, lose a bit of fat. You kind of go that way and you're trying to go that way and you end up kind of just staying here. If you're massively overweight, you need to go through a fat loss phase. However, a recomp is effective if you're skinny fat, meaning you've got a little bit of fat on your body, but you're also very skinny. We all know what skinny fat looks like. Or you've come back from a layoff, an injury, and you used to be in great shape and you haven't trained for a while. You're somebody that could benefit massively from a recomp as well. Now, if you're very, very skinny, you need to go into a gaining phase. You're not going to gain much body fat anyway. Okay, so a recomp is great, but it's only good for a specific type of person. Now, if we actually break down what a recomp is, we're sort of thinking about eating at maintenance calories where the body will build muscle and it will strip off fat at the same time. And it requires a really detailed approach that a lot of people tend to get wrong. So your nutrition needs to be on point. Your protein servings need to be consistent throughout the day. Your training has to be dialed in. Your recovery has to be dialed in. Your calories have to be just enough that you can recover from training, but not enough that you're going into a gaining phase, but not too little that you're just stripping off fat. And as I said, you're kind of telling the body to go that way, but also telling the body to go that way. And a lot of the times, guys, we end up just staying in the middle. I'm a big fan of doing one first or the other. If you're overweight, go into a dieting phase, strip off as much fat as possible, and then go into a gaining phase. What you'll find is that as you're stripping off body fat, if you're overweight, if your protein is adequate and your training is good, you will be recomping by default. You have stored energy on your body, so you will be able to lose fat at the same time. If you're absolutely tiny and skinny, you need to go into a gaining phase for a prolonged period of time. Build muscle, solidify that tissue, own it, and then drop down a little bit. Now, guys, I want to show you a client of mine, Ricky. Here, look at his start pictures. This is 83 kilos. Finished result on the right here. This is also 83 kilos. Wow, recomp. No, massive gaining phase, massive dieting phase, full-blown bulk, full-blown cut to achieve that look. It took, I think, about 11 months. If he would have just recomped, eaten at maintenance, try and build, try and shrink, try and shred, try and build, he wouldn't look even close to this finished picture, okay? So you really got to commit, guys. Building muscle takes a long time. Now, of course, if it was me, and you can see my physique, I'm well muscled, if I had 3 months off from an injury and I gained a bit of fat and I lost a lot of muscle, I could recomp, of course. But the majority of people, if you have too much fat on your body, you're better off going into a fat loss phase. Go all in one way and then go all in the other way. And obviously, as you go into this bulk, guys, make it a lean, slow bulk. Don't go into a dirty bulk. I've got videos on this stupid dirty bulk. The goal is to be lean at all times. As you're growing, you want to stay lean. Now, one thing I will say is obviously some people are better off doing a recomp, but you have to factor in time. You're not going to build as much muscle as a bulk. You're not going to lose as much fat as if you're in a cut. So although you can make progress, it will be very, very slow. That might be fine for you. If you've got a huge time frame, then that's totally fine. But the majority of people, they want results quickly. They're better off pulling fat off and then going into a gaining phase. So that's my take on it. The goal is always to build muscle if you're gaining fat, if you're gaining weight or losing weight, but the calories will dictate what happens. So if you look in the mirror, you hate the way you look, go into a fat loss phase. If you look in the mirror and you're absolutely tiny, go into a gaining phase. And use your brain, guys. If you're going into a gaining phase, you want to push. If you get to a point where you get too sloppy and you don't like the way you look, pull back just for a couple of weeks. A little mini cut. I've got videos on this as well. Don't go into a 12-week fat loss phase. You will lose all the muscle you just built. It takes a long time to build muscle. It took me so long to learn this. When I was younger, I wanted to be lean, but I wanted to be big. So I kind of ate in maintenance, make sure I had my shakes post-workout, and I just didn't really go anywhere for a long period of time. And I had guys that were 18, 19 going to the gym, and after 6 months they were bigger than me. I was thinking, what? They were just super responsive, training hard, eating well, and growing. It took me so long to grasp this. So hopefully this video will help you and you won't make the mistakes I made. If you like this video, please subscribe. I've got plenty of videos like this to help you guys build muscle and lose fat.